Have you ever sat down and thought to yourself, exactly how does Google work? Let's say you just built out your own home service business website and you've launched it. What exactly does Google do with your website and how does it know where to showcase it when people look for something online? Let me show you exactly how I think Google actually works. What up there, guys? Izzy here once again, Do It Yourself SEO, where I help home service business owners build out their own websites, do their own SEO, and basically get their business found online. And in this video, I want to talk about exactly how Google works. Now, before I begin, I just want to let you guys know I'm not some guy that works at Google. I'm not some kind of tech guy. I'm not anything like that. I'm just a regular dude that took on digital marketing and started to learn the crafts and things about all this online stuff. And slowly, learned a bunch of stuff, and now I kind of educate people on it and kind of explain it in simple terms so that they can understand. Now, the way Google works is actually pretty damn cool. So we're going to use a very simple example. Okay, let's say there's a guy out in Hanford, California, pretty small town in the Central Valley of California. It's about 50,000 people. Let's say this individual goes out there and he creates even the most basic junk removal website for Hanford, California, right? So let's say he builds that and he builds, six additional pages. He built an about page, he just built a full website. And as soon as he hits that button to make that website go live, what ends up happening is that website goes out into the ether of the internet. It's just out there, floating out there. And sooner or later, Google's crawlers, it's got something called spiders that go around and crawl websites 24/7, 365 days a year, this nonstop crawling websites. It starts to look at all those pages, starts reading all of the information, starts looking at the titles, starts looking at the images, starts looking at the content, starts looking at everything on that page, associate what this whole page and each individual page is going to be about. It's also looking for links inside the pages that maybe link into another page on the site, link to another page. All of this stuff is trying to gather up information because what it's trying to do is it wants to showcase the page for a particular search that it's structured to be found for to begin with. So what Google does is has all these pages, probably billions and billions and billions of pages online in its index. It's called getting indexed into Google's index, right? It's got all these pages online, like I said, billions of pages locked and loaded, ready to go. So when anybody types in any particular search into that search bar, Google can immediately showcase the page that might be useful for the end user. So if that individual who created that website for Hanford junk removal in California or whatever it might be, if he did even a decent job, Google's going to pick up that page and showcase it when anybody types in that search in the search results. Now, the thing with these home service businesses and contractor businesses, it's incredibly easy to rank some of these pages because most contractors, most home service business providers have no idea about the internet. They don't know how the whole thing works. And some guys even do this stuff on accident. Let's take, for example, Hanford junk removal Hanford. Based on my tools, this is typed into Google approximately 50 times a month. That's more or less the amount that it's actually typed into the search bar. So what ends up happening is as soon as somebody types that into the Google search bar, Google instantaneously, in milliseconds, creates that list underneath the search to showcase and show the person the best results possible for that search query that they just made. To me, the way that I see it is like a file in a filing cabinet. So imagine a filing cabinet with that search that says junk removal Hanford. I open up the filing cabinet and there's nothing but pages on Hanford junk removal. See, the thing that home service business owners don't understand, and it's hard for me to educate sometimes, is that sometimes it's completely wide open, the market. So, for example, Hanford junk removal, like I said, is only searched about 50 times a month. So, what does that mean? Naturally, that means there's not many people out there building out a page for that particular search. So, when you build out even a half assed page, it's going to show up on the search results because Google's got nothing to pick from. There's not much competition, there's not much volume, there's not many pages in that filing cabinet for that particular search. This is why sometimes you see search results for like Yelp, you'll see Home Advisor, you see some oddball search results for a particular search in a city because there's not very many other pages showcasing that particular search. Now, let's say, for example, that business owner wants to start to target a bunch of other cities and starts building service area pages, like some cities over around Hanford. But there's a city about 20 miles away from Hanford that's triple, quadruple in size. It's called Visalia, California. So now he builds a page for Visalia junk removal or junk removal Visalia. Now, if you look at my tools, you can see the search volume of that is now 390 searches. So what does that mean? That means that that search is a lot more common. A lot more people are typing that on a monthly basis. So what does that mean? That means that naturally there's going to be people out there building out pages specific for that search. So again, picture that filing cabinet, right? This is junk removal in Visalia. You pull out the drawer. Now, instead of just having a handful of pages, now you have several hundred pages. So that guy who built that website with a page that says Visalia junk removal is sitting there scratching his head trying to understand why his page is not showing up on the search results. The reason is because he's got so much more competition. There are so many more pages dedicated to that search. So the chances of his page showing up diminished a big time. So you can only imagine what something like this would be for like a competitive niche like carpet cleaning, junk removal, lawyers, and things like that, right? So can you imagine the results for injury attorney in Las Vegas, what it would look like? Okay, man. Okay, it's not that much, but you can see it would be tremendous. So now you can kind of see why this SEO stuff is so important, especially on-page stuff. If you go out there and build your own website or get somebody else build it for you, make sure that they built it out correctly so that it's structured in a way that you want to get found for the particular searches that you want to get found for, especially in smaller cities like in Hanford or something like that. You'd have no competition just building out a website for that particular city because there's not going to be very many people out who built a page specifically for that search term. Now, when you get more competitive, obviously it's going to be more difficult. So how do you combat some of this more competitive stuff? Well, there's really no other way around it other than just to create more authority for your website. You might, first of all, doing all the on-page stuff correctly, all the content, all of that stuff, interlinking within the pages. Make sure you build out service pages. Make sure you build out location pages. Build out as many pages as you can. Go out there and get backlinks and just build the trust factor of that website. There's no other way other than to do that. This is why something like Home Advisor has millions of pages showing up for all kinds of different search results, from flooring to TV mounting to tree trimming, whatever it might be, because it's got so much authority, it's got so much trust, and there's no other way to do it other than to, like I said, continually working on your website, going out and creating articles for other people's websites to create a backlink pointing back to your website. Like, but if you're in a small town, it's not really competitive. You don't really need too much. Even in small, you don't have to go to the extent of Home Advisor or some of these big companies. You're only trying to target a smaller area, so it shouldn't be too difficult to do. But that's all I wanted to share with you guys. My take on how the search engine works, trying to make it understand for just the average person to kind of grasp how the whole thing works and make it easy to understand. And for those of you who are out there, thinking about or restructuring or building out your own website, I recently created a video that shows you that the average person can indeed build out their own website and SEO optimize it right from the get-go. I created a video just for that right here. And that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. Until next time.